Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we got to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers and all the young guys that Nick Nurse and Daryl Morey have at their disposal. So we're going to be talking about Justin Edwards, who had an incredible performance in 22 minutes as the Sixers squeak by the Celtics. And we've seen it already this season. VJ Edgecombe, previously with Quentin Grimes and Tyrese Maxey, all these studs, and Jared McCain, not to be forgotten in that shuffle. So for me, when we look at a team like the Sixers, where I think we're seeing a squad that, as the season continues to progress, they're building an identity at 7-4. They're young, dumb, and full of cum. I don't know why I just referenced Point Break, but if you got that, that was John C. McGinley talking to Keanu Reeves. And I know the Celtics aren't the most formidable foe, but VJ Edgecombe had a quiet game, going 6-3-3. Tyrese Maxey did his thing. Drummond had a double-double. Kelly Oubre and Trendon Watford rounded out the starting lineup. But Adem Bona, another guy who I think is having a solid year this year. Jabari Walker and Trendon Watford were two off-season acquisitions that I really think helped this team out. And Jared McCain is slowly being brought back. He's now, played in 3 games, and it seems like they're integrating him slowly, and he's yet to hit a shot. But when you look at a Sixers squad like the one that they have here, and you have a kid like Justin Edwards, who's, I said, very similar body type and archetype to a Trevor Ariza, a combo forward who can play small ball 4, more of a pure 3 that can play the wing. And he's someone who was, a 5-star recruit. And when he was a high school guy, he was someone that people thought was going to be a high lottery pick. Ends up going in the second round. And he is shown he's someone who can defend 1 through 4. He's a really good shooter, 22 points in 27 minutes. At 21 years old, almost 6'8", 200 pounds. He's someone who has the physical profile that you'd like to see in your modern day wings. As I continue to be impressed by the Sixers and how they've built this roster. So let me hear your thoughts before we continue this video. Do you guys agree with me in the Sixers in their current state, which is having a lot of young guys play and have them above 500 without Paul George and Joel Embiid really being a big part of this team? Because so far, Joel Embiid's been held to 6 games, 23 minutes a night. Yeah, he's averaging 20 points, 5.5 rebounds, 3 assists on decent efficiency. But the biggest thing, Tyrese Maxey, 32 points a game. VJ Edgecombe being a 15-point per game scorer. And then Quentin Grimes averaging 17 a night. And Justin Edwards, I know, has 1 start, 9 games played, 6 points. But this is a team that's the 9th best scoring offense in the league. They're middle of the pack in terms of rebounding and assists, even though if you look at their rebounding numbers, they're actually a top half of the league offensive rebounding team and a bottom half or bottom 10 defensive rebounding team. And you rather be a better offensive rebounding team than defensive rebounding team, because the defensive rebounds, because they're so young and athletic, they don't need to slam the boards on the defensive side to kickstart fast breaks to create extra opportunities. Because they're so active on the offensive boards, they're still able to physically impose their will against their opponents and create those extra possessions by getting putbacks or just getting offensive rebounds and kicking it out to the open shooters. And that's the other thing, is that this is currently a team that is 5th in 3-point percentage, and they're in the top half of the league in 3-point attempts and 3-point makes. Just one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league, and they're putting up numbers in a huge number. And they're also getting to the free throw line a bunch, a top 10 team in free throw makes, attempts, and rate. So for them, they're doing what they need to do, is creating second chance opportunities, crashing the offensive boards to get those second chance opportunities, and putting up a large number of threes. And if they aren't getting, open 3 looks, they're attacking the rim and drawing fouls, which is huge. And the other thing is they're a team that is, one of the most efficient field goal shooting teams in general. So they're just taking really good looks, having a lot of good ball movement. And I think this is as a result of them having a lot younger of a core than they did last year. And one thing I think we do need to hope that can improve, and I think it will if Joel Embiid and Paul George are properly healthy, is their interior defense and just being interior. Like, teams that have bigger opponents and more experienced teams are beating them, but they're currently in a position, in my opinion, that they've been able to combat, any team at any given night. Because if you're a team that's pushing the pace like the Heat, they have enough young athletic guys from Tyrese Maxey, BJ Edgecombe, Kelly Oubre, Quentin Grimes, even Dom Barlow, who's somebody that I think people need to give credit to, Trendon Watford, Jabari Walker, Adem Bona, Justin Edwards, to come out there and to play a up-pace athletic style of play and pace that you see against some of the top teams, especially what we're seeing against like a Miami Heat squad and the OKC Thunder. Or you can play more methodical and bigger with a combination of Oubre, Edwards, Bona, Drummond, and whoever it might be when you're playing bigger squads or older squads like the Clippers or the Spurs. And I think that versatility and flexibility between the player's position and just really focusing on having many guys who have multiple positionality as a skill for them is huge. And I think that was a result of them knowing that Mr. Paul George and Joel Embiid may or may not be available, and we need to probably be acting as if they're not going to be available for a majority of the year. That way we aren't surprised if that's the case and they're ready. And I think that's what they did. And when you have multiple shot creators like Tyrese Maxey, like VJ Edgecombe, like Kelly Oubre, like Quentin Grimes, even Joel Embiid, the fact that he's averaging like 20 points in 23 minutes a night, he's played in half of the team's games so far, I think is huge and is something that I want to give Daryl Morey kudos, because he went out and got the proper personnel for Nick Nurse this season, and the team just is moving up and down the court way better than they had previously. And if we currently look at NBA teams by pace, they're a team that currently this year, the Heat are number one, but the Sixers, believe it or not, pace, because you're like, oh, this is a super young team. They're actually not even a top 25 team or not top 25, but they're not a top 5 or a top 10 team in pace. They're actually ranked 13th at 100, which is middle of the pack, which is still good. Like, they're being able to be a fast team, but they're not. A lot of times when teams are young and stuff or have really good offenses, they have a super high pace, which can lead to mistakes and stuff like that, but they aren't. So that's the video from you guys. What do you guys think? If you guys agree with me, let me know your thoughts in the comments. But that's it. We got some other content coming out later today. We'll talk about some of the trades and whatnot. But yeah, that's where I want to leave it for today. Let me know your thoughts. Till next time, guys. Peace. Oh.